Yes, myself, Dr. Kala R, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Applied Chemistry, Cochin University of Science and Technology in India. Hereby, I am going to present the research work being carried out in my laboratory, that is photo-induced electron transfer in non-covalently bonded graphene quantum dot porphyrin nanohybrid system. If you look into the research which is being carried out in the field of material chemistry, we can see that the carbon nanomaterials has always received much attention because of the fascinating properties associated with these type of materials. As you can see here, the introduction of these type of materials has started way back in 1850s, but the drastic growth of this type of materials has started after 1950s with the introduction of the new materials like fullerene, carbon nanotubes, graphene, etc. In fact, all these materials has contributed to a new dimension of research in the field of material chemistry. And among this, graphene quantum dots are a relatively new member in this list, and they have appeared nearly a decade ago. And if you look into the classification of these type of materials based on the dimension, we can see that it can be put into different classes like 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional, 1-dimensional, and even 0-dimensional materials. And among these zero-dimensional materials, graphene quantum dots has attracted much attention because of the fascinating properties associated with this, particularly the luminescence properties associated with this with the graphene quantum dot. This is a photograph of the GQD taken under UV light, which actually shows the photoluminescence property associated with this GQD. And also it is associated with its own absorbance value at nearly 250 and 340 nanometer, and the emission will be at nearly 400 nanometer, which will be depending upon the size of the quantum dots which has been synthesized. And all these are all because of the quantum confinement effect associated with the graphene quantum dot. And one of the interesting properties associated with the graphene quantum dot is that the photophysical properties of these materials can be tuned by way of functionalization or otherwise going for doping with the different dopant materials. And other than these photophysical properties, we can see that it is associated with other interesting properties like chemical stability, water dispersibility, low photo bleaching, biocompatibility, and low toxicity. In contrast to the inorganic counterparts like cadmium sulfide or cadmium selenide, etc. And coming to the synthesis strategies adopted, it can be synthesized by the top-down method starting from bulk materials, or otherwise from using the bottom-up method from small organic molecules. And as you can see here, because of all these properties associated with the GQD, it is finding applications in variety of fields like energy related applications, environmental related applications, and even biological applications are also reported. Coming to the present work, we have actually synthesized a nanohybrid system based on graphene quantum dot and tetraamino-phenyl porphyrin, and which can be represented pictorially represented like this, bearing a pi-pi stacking type of non-covalent interaction between the components. And the photophysical properties of these material have been studied. We have actually tried to explore this type of materials since they can find application as photosensitizers in dye-sensitized solar cells. And we expect a type of co-sensitization phenomenon working out in this type of material, which could improve the efficiency of the DSSC compared to one component systems. And GQD has been synthesized starting from graphite material, and it has been characterized using different techniques. The SEM and TEM analysis actually shows a particle nature of the GQD material and in the aggregated form, and the average particle size was nearly found to be 3 to 5 nanometer, and the functional group of the material has been confirmed by the IR analysis. And this photograph actually shows the green fluorescence of the GQD particle which has been synthesized. And we have actually taken the porphyrin derivative as tetraaminophenyl porphyrin for the interaction study, and it has been synthesized using the conventional Alder method, and it has been characterized using proton NMR, FTIR and LCMS analysis, which confirms the formation of the porphyrin derivative as tetraaminophenyl porphyrin. The absorption spectra shows that there is a shoulder peak at nearly 290 nanometer and 340 nanometer for GQD, and a sharp peak appears at 425 nanometer, and three peaks of low intensity appears in the range of 500 to 700 nanometer, which is corresponding to the solid band and the Q band of porphyrin derivative. And the corresponding emission spectra were also recorded, and the study shows that there is a peak at 506 nanometer for the GQD and at nearly 680 nanometer for the case of the porphyrin derivative. And the corresponding photophysical parameters have been recorded, and the molar extinction coefficient of the two components have been shown over here, which is corresponding to the parameter measured at the high intensity peak, and other photophysical parameters like lifetime, the quantum efficiency, and the radiative and non-radiative rate constants were also recorded. And the interaction studies has been carried out by means of the UV spectral and the fluorescence spectral analysis, and also the lifetime decay analysis by varying the concentration of GQD into a constant concentration of porphyrin. The study shows that, as you can see here, there is no considerable change in the UV visible spectrum, which indicates that there is negligible interaction between the GQD and the porphyrin derivative in the ground state level, whereas in the excited state, as indicated by the quenching of the fluorescence spectra and also the lifetime decay profile, we can say that there is a considerable significant interaction between the GQD and the porphyrin system in the excited state. And also the tau average value was found to be decreasing, and there is an increase in the value of the non-radiative rate constant, which actually shows that there could be a photo-induced electron transfer happening from porphyrin to the GQD. In order to get a clear picture about the quenching behavior of porphyrin in the presence of GQD, the Stern-Warmer plot has been drawn in terms of fluorescence as well as the lifetime with increasing concentration of GQD. And as shown over here, it is showing a straight line with a positive slope, indicating a dynamic nature of quenching behavior. And the dynamic quenching constant was found to be 21.89 into 10 to the power 3 molar inverse. To appreciate the photophysical parameters observed for such type of nanohybrid systems, we have gone for the calculation of the energy levels associated with the HOMO and LUMO orbitals of GQD and TAPP by experimental methods as well as the theoretical calculations. And this actually shows the HOMO and LUMO orbitals of GQD, and this is corresponding to the HOMO and LUMO energy levels of TAPP, that is tetraaminophenyl porphyrin. And the band alignment energy diagram shows that there is a chance for the transfer of electrons from the LUMO orbital of porphyrin to the LUMO orbital of the GQD. And this the feasibility of this electron transfer was actually confirmed by the calculation of the delta G value, that is the free energy change value for this process, and it was found to be a negative value, which confirms the feasibility of such an electron transfer in the excited state. As a concluding remark, we have actually synthesized a nanohybrid system incorporating the graphene quantum dots and the porphyrin derivative, which is involved with a non-covalent type of interaction with each other. And we have studied the photophysical parameters associated with such system, and which shows that there is a feasibility for electron transfer happening from the porphyrin derivative to the graphene quantum dots. So this type of materials can be a promising material for DSSC application, since this type of material will facilitate the electron injection, which is very much required for enhancing the efficiency associated with a particular dye sensitized solar cell. And